UK time until October 23rd. So of course you are all invited to attend and ask all the questions. Steve Lyle is going to be in charge of leading with the chat box. So all the questions are welcome. We are going to answer them by the end of the session. So please capture them all. And Steve is going to read them out loud at the end of this conversation that we're going to have. So these are just 3 points that I wanted to share with you all. This is a practical conversation. So this is not theory. This is done by real venture capitalists, real investors throughout the world, different industries, different cultures. So that is why the value of all this conversation is very rich, and I hope that this is of value to you as audience. So I would like you to please put your microphones off, and all the questions are more than welcome. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm a Cambridge Business Association Director for Latin America. I'm also representing the Judge Business School here in the region. And in addition, I'm the managing partner of Oxbridge Capital Partners for Latin America, and we are a newly created VC firm here in the region. So I'm going to be the host. I'm going to be helping you out, all the audience, with the questions also, and introducing all the keynote speakers we got for today. And this is an honor, actually, to have this kind of agenda together. As I was saying before, we're going to be analyzing trends, economic impact, the next 10 years, how we see the future, and the region as a hub. Basically, we're not just focusing in Chile, but covering many countries that are within the continent. Before we get started and we dive into the content, I want to thank, of course, all the partners, the strategic partners we got in LATAM. eClass, which is the platform who trains in different fields and gives online classes for multiple industries. The Renaissance Executive Forum, this is a peer-to-peer conversation for CEOs and managers in Latin America. If they want to grow, learn, and share their own experiences and become better leaders. Hacienda Santa Martina, which is a nature club, they're all the time present in this Cambridge Connect series. And of course, the Oxbridge Angels, represented today by Jasreen. She's going to introduce herself afterwards, but they are the 82 investors from Oxford and Cambridge who are helping out startups and founders achieve their goals. This is the faculty, the stellar faculty we got today. So I'm going to leave you with Steve Lyle so he can introduce himself.
Hey, thank you, Guillermo. Guillermo, hopefully I'm coming through on your end. You can hear me. That means everybody else can. Fantastic. Listen, the top of the order here, both the ambassadors that are here today, Ambassadors Gallagher and Doody. I've been professionally active over the last 25 years as an investment banker, serial entrepreneur in the media technology space, although not exclusively, along with being an occasional film and a television producer. You know, although we're not officially a Cambridge spin-out, Rashid Zubri and I, along with 80 plus other people, met at Cambridge Judge Business School's executive MBA program. We're very proud of that heritage and origin story. Rashid and I, we founded Oxbridge Angels and Oxbridge Capital Partners, with the dream of unleashing the power of executive MBAs who bring seasoned insights, born out of 10 to 30 years of work experience across several disciplines to the venture capital ecosystem. So that dream, it caught fire, with 60 plus other members of our cohort and who came together to charter Oxbridge Angels, whose investment committee now is led by Yazreed and Naya. These executive MBAs also bring their own time and money to early stage founders. So the result of all of that is an unrivaled deal flow and de-risking engine that has attracted the attention of over 30 big brand corporate venture capital firms who are equally excited about the highest quality deal flow emanating out of Cambridge and Oxford, Oxford University ecosystems, along with the Golden Triangle, the London area. So I think we've uniquely combined, the power of human and financial capital. You hear that a lot. That's our theme. Like no other VC in the United Kingdom and beyond, we're very excited about extending this platform to all of Latin America through our partnership with Genesis Ventures in Santiago, Chile, and Corfo. Now, I'd like to introduce my co-founder, Rashid Zuberi, who's going to tell you some more and a little bit about him as well. Rashid?
Steve, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining today. I mean, you've already given a pretty decent introduction, Steve. So from my perspective, a bit like Steve, 25 years in investment banking, all manners of things. But then I think Cambridge, and particularly the Judge Business School, was a pivot for both myself and Steve, as he mentioned. And other than the fact that we found, a willing participant in our EMBA cohort, we also found out very quickly, other than corporate venture arms, that there were lots of individuals out there, family offices and the likes, who were extremely interested in what we were trying to do, how we were trying to bring everything together. But some of them from time to time had heard similar things. But the key differential for me, and this is where, Guillermo and then our partners, Rodrigo and Andres, came in, was LATAM. A lot of focus is generally given in terms of investment opportunities to, for example, the US and Europe in general. And having our partners and Corfo as well is a great thing for us. So it really gives us a leg up compared to everyone else. So we're extremely proud, to showcase our abilities to all of you here. With that, I'll hand over to Yasreen. And a bit I would like to say on Yasreen is, when I started investment banking, my background is in the sciences, and I was told I was a rocket scientist. I was great, but Yasreen actually is a rocket scientist, and I'll let her introduce herself to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rashid. Thank you, Guillermo, and a very, very warm welcome to Ambassador Gallagher and Dodi, as well as to the Cambridge Judge Business School for organizing this event, and the Business Association. So yes, my name is Yasreen Ibn Yahya. I am the chair of the investment committee of Oxbridge Angels and one of the founding charter members. And indeed, I am a rocket scientist, and I'm heading an innovation department in the space industry, focusing over the last 15 years on advanced concepts and startups engagement. So I'll take advantage of those few introductions to briefly summarize what is Oxbridge Angels. So Oxbridge Angels is the angel fund we have launched back in February this year, and we invest mostly into early stage startups, and we are focusing on deep tech. So usually we engage with startups as part of their first rounds, pre-seed and seed money. And we praise ourselves for bringing both the financial capital, but most importantly, the human capital. And that's a very important point, because we have a breadth of wealth and knowledge within, in terms of skill sets within our members, which are 60 to 80 members, are more or less actively involved in the fund, some of them on a weekly basis. And those skills are covering different expertise, but also sectors, industries, genders, and cultural background, which makes our investment decisions extremely smart, and also relevant for the entrepreneur, who can tap onto that knowledge almost as a consultancy support anytime throughout the life cycle of their engagement with us, before, during, and after gotten our investment. So we're very proud of being founders friendly, very inclusive with both our entrepreneurs and investors, and focusing on this long-term partnership with the people we engage with. And that long-term partnership is important when we talk about Oxbridge Capital, because Oxbridge Capital is also the follow-on investments, Series A's and beyond, for the early stage startups that we engage with as part of the Angel Starts. And the creation of Oxbridge Capital in Latin America opens new market expansion opportunities for these startup companies that are maybe starting their initial expansion in the UK or the EU market, but this is simply not enough for some of them. And having this opportunity to expand in other markets in Latin America are extremely powerful tool. So where are we sourcing our startups? So far, mostly in the UK. We have engaged with Oxford, Cambridge, London, and we're noticing that there is a significant intellectual property creation within these three hubs, which is feeding a very rich ecosystem around them. We have already assessed over 60 startups since our creation, We have done several due diligences process very thoroughly, and the way we do our due diligence will be expanded on and explained during module 4 of this program. And we are very happy also to announce that we've done our first investment into an incredible startup, which is, by the way, a female founder, and with whom we're expecting that we will be expanding both our contribution to her business by providing this human capital, and also maybe facilitating her expansion in additional markets such as Latin America. So thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to learn more about the Genesis venture, Rodrigo and Andres.
Thanks a lot, Jasreen. I'm Rodrigo Castro, the managing partner of Genesis Ventures, based here in Chile. We are very pleased to be part of this faculty and to be involved with the Cambridge Judge Business School as well as the Cambridge Business Association. I would like to thank as well to Ambassadors Gallagher and Duddy to be part of this venture. We found with Andres Meirovich this venture capital firm back in 2006. We started as a consulting firm, but from the very beginning, we decided to split out to the investment landscape, investing in venture capital. That is our focus from the very beginning, with a close relationship with Corfo, our development agency that support us in 3 funds nowadays. And we are very pleased and looking forward to the long-term relationship we are building together with Oxbridge Capital Partners in this new fund, and hopefully in the near future this venture would be larger and with a larger scope in Latin America as well as in the world. So thanks to everyone to be here.
Finally me, hello, I'm Andres Meirovich. I'm the other managing partner of Genesis Ventures. As Rodrigo said, we're very pleased to be here and to be part of this venture, to have a joint venture with you guys. And of course, this is the first step for a long-term relationship. And we really want to build this bridge between the UK and LATAM. So thank you for being here, and thank you very much.
So we have the privilege of not just having one ambassador, but 2. So I would like to leave you with the Chilean ambassador to the UK, Mr. David Gallagher, so he can walk us through the alliance that Chile has with the UK. And then I'm going to leave you with Ian, the British ambassador here in Chile for the UK, to tell us the other side of the story. So welcome. Thank you for your time. It's an honor to have you both here participating today. So Mr. Gallagher, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. Well, Oxford Capital Partners are bringing venture capital coupled with the awesome research capacity of Oxford and Cambridge to a region where investment opportunities are vast and where venture capital is still insufficient. So I cannot but welcome you with open arms and wish you well. Their success, together with Genesis Ventures, is vital not only for you, but for our whole region. Chile is an ideal hub for this endeavor, as it is for venture capital in general. Here are some reasons. We have one of the world's most open economies, including free trade agreements with 64 countries, covering some 86% of world GDP. We belong to some prestigious multinational trade pacts. We are thus a privileged entry point to the Pacific Alliance and to the Trans-Pacific Alliance, which an alliance of 11 countries which the UK is planning to join. Most recently, we signed into DEP, an exciting new digital economy partnership with Singapore and New Zealand. We have a long history of foreign investors being warmly welcomed and guaranteed equal treatment under the law. We have capital markets that are stable and deep. Our privately managed pension funds, life insurance companies, and family offices have a robust flow of resources to invest locally and internationally. Chile is a leader in digitalization and financial inclusion. 84% of Chileans are internet users, and 85% of them are mobile users. 97% of our adult population has access to some financial product. We have world-class universities that generate exceptional young talent. In 2010, we established Startup Chile, an accelerator program in which we finance young foreigners who wish to start innovative businesses in Chile. It has been imitated all over the world. Our government, through its development agency, Corfo, stimulates innovation through support of private equity and venture capital funds by providing them with equity capital and non-recourse loans. And I'm very happy to see Corfo involved with you. Chile's venture capital industry has trebled since 2010, reaching over 1.3 billion and financing more than 280 companies. Chile is a popular choice for companies looking to establish Latin America headquarters. It is for all the reasons I have enumerated, and because of its good quality of life, its good international schools and universities, and its excellent connectivity. There are great investment opportunities in Chile. There's a drive to complement our natural resource-based economy with one that is more knowledge-based. This is a major growth area, but so is our amazingly rich resource-based economy itself. Its constant evolution and modernization presents good investment opportunities. For instance, mining is undergoing progressive automatization. Technology is revolutionizing exploration and exploitation with huge gains in efficiency and sustainability. And we're undergoing a revolution in sustainable energy. On the road to be carbon neutral by 2050, 44% of our energy sources are already clean and renewable. And by 2030, that will be 70%. We have the best conditions for solar energy in the world. In the north, we have 4,000 hours of sunshine per year and the world's highest levels of solar radiation. Our clean energy potential is 70 times our needs. So looking to the future, we are giving the highest priority to green hydrogen, which we will produce in the north with solar power and in the south with wind power. We expect our exports of green hydrogen to one day rival copper. Other exciting sectors in Chile are our sophisticated food industry and our sustainable tourism industry. Our Southern Hemisphere seasonal fruit feeds the Northern Hemisphere in the winter, while our pristine evergreen forests, our lakes, glaciers, and fjords and deserts attract sophisticated nature-loving tourists. So we think Oxbridge will have its work cut out in Chile and Latin America. There will be no shortage of opportunities. In 1820, 200 years ago, at our birth as an independent nation, there were already thousands of British entrepreneurs converging on our port of Valparaiso. We were then at the beginnings of what has been, with the UK, a 200-year alliance of like-minded countries, an alliance of our governments and of our private sectors. The arrival of Oxbridge in Chile and their work with Genesis Ventures is a welcome new component of this alliance. I conclude by just wishing Oxbridge and Genesis Ventures the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for the words. Thank you for letting all the audience know about the relationship, the long-standing relationship we got as Chile and the UK. So now I would like to leave you with Mr. Ambassador Duddy in order to introduce himself and hopefully talk about this long-standing relationship we got between the two countries and the region.
Thank you, Guillermo, and thanks very much for inviting me along this morning. I have to say I'm a bit in awe after the introduction you gave us, the panel. I'm just a boring diplomat, but and you are all rocket scientists and have done some amazing work. So congratulations. It's very nice to see David, the Chilean ambassador. I'm actually sitting in Santiago right now. I started my career in Buenos Aires. Before coming to Chile, I was 4 years working as the British ambassador in Uruguay and now in Chile. So I feel like I know the region fairly well, LATAM. And it's great to be here in Chile because I do believe it's one of the most progressive markets in the region for all the reasons that David talked about. And I'd like to say, welcome to all the participants in the launch of your 5-week course on venture capital in the region. I'll try not to repeat all of the great information and background that David gave you, but just to say that there are some fantastic ties between the UK and Latin America. We have a long shared history. A lot of that was built on commercial ties from over 200 years ago. And Chile is a prime example of this. So Chile was the first country with which the UK signed a trade agreement, a trade continuity agreement in January 2019, as we departed from the EU. So it's with Chile that we have our first rollover agreement in terms of continuity post-Brexit. There is always much more that we can do to strengthen ties between Latin America and the UK, and the UK certainly has a desire to do so. Unfortunately, for the moment, a lot of our sort of visits and bilateral work has had to be put on hold. But our Lord Mayor, who's the chief representative for the City of London, is a regular visitor to the region. He last came in 2019. We had various events and visits lined up for 2020, but we'll have to sort of push them forwards for 2021. But it's very much our desire to continue those links. I have to do a little bit of a sales pitch on the UK as well. You'll be expecting that and the things that we offer. So for the British government, we have some exciting offers for entrepreneurs. So through the Department for International Trade, we offer programs like the Global Entrepreneurs Program, and that seeks to attract and support international entrepreneur-led companies with innovative commercial technologies looking to expand their business from a UK headquarters. And I can give you an example of that from Uruguay, where we helped a Uruguayan entrepreneur set up their regional headquarters in the UK, and from there wanting to expand in Europe and globally. So we offer a service to help those investors who want to use the UK as a hub. I've mentioned the B word, Brexit. So now that the UK has left the EU, and we have left, we have a once in a generation chance to develop our partnerships and relations with other countries and new partnerships. And I think Latin America is very much at the forefront of those opportunities. And I think there are some truly unique opportunities available to international investors to the UK. And we want Latin American investors to share those opportunities for many of the reasons that David outlined as well. And so why does the UK matter in all of this? Well, I think we have some really supportive government policies that enable great ideas to become great venture and great companies which can successfully scale up to become global. And London still is a global financial center that links the world markets. The UK provides a very stable, reliable, and trustworthy regulatory environment. We have the lowest corporate tax rate in the G20 at 19%. And we, as the UK, we have an impressive array of support for entrepreneurship. So from tech investment tax reliefs, research and development credits, reductions in patent costs. And the UK really is at the cutting edge of technology with some of the world's best research centers, innovation clusters, and a highly skilled workforce. So I think the UK has a dynamic and collaborative ecosystem, and that supports and fosters startups through all the way to listing as companies. And when I talk about that ecosystem, you know, right now in the UK, we have over 33,000 active startups, over 7,000 active investors, over 200 accelerators, and at least 7,000 corporates, all involved in the startup scene. So I think, you know, that helps to demonstrate the UK's leading position in terms of being an innovative country. And, you know, to be honest, that's the challenge for us for the years ahead, is to maintain that lead and to continue with innovation. And, you know, part of our challenge with this venture capital program is to raise the profile of the UK ecosystem in Latin America, to ensure that people are aware of what the UK has to offer and how to maximize the opportunities and benefits it offers. So I do think over the next few years, you will see a greater focus in Latin America from the UK. It's part of our global vision as we leave the EU, and trying to foster and develop new markets. And I think Latin America is very much at the forefront of all of that. So I wish you all the success for the next couple of weeks, and it's been really nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you, Mr. Ambassadors, for your time. I know that the time's scarce, so thank you so much. Before we dive in to the lecture, I'm going to leave you with Mary Prede, the head of alumni relationship from the Judge Business School, so she can give you some very interesting notes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. As Guillermo has said, my name is Mary Prede, and I'm head of alumni relations at Cambridge Judge Business School, and delighted to be able to be with you all today, and all the hard work that's gone into today and the subsequent presentations that will be coming over the next 4 or 5 weeks. One of the reasons that the business school has massively supported today's activity is because there's so many of the panel and so many of the audience I know who have been through the business school with one program or another, and we really are delighted that this activity has come out of the connections that have been made as a result of the programs that those of you who've attended have been on. And I really just want to take the opportunity just to say to everybody that the business school is very supportive of everything that its alumni does, but it's also very supportive of new people coming to the business school. And I wanted to take the opportunity to do a little bit of a plug. So there is a new, our executive education department has a new set of courses available, which are live online. And live online, it means in this wonderful world that we are, with the technology that we have these days, is that you can have a Cambridge experience right from the comfort of your own office. So wherever you are in the world, access to our faculty is an option. Access to the calibre of students that Cambridge University and the Cambridge Judge Business School is proud of is open to you. And I do hope that you will take the opportunity after this webinar to have a look at our website and have a look at the live online courses. We are still teaching face-to-face as well, so if you want to come through Cambridge, we'd be delighted to see you. And I know that there are a number, as I said, a number of our panel and our audience have been through Cambridge Judge, and I'm sure they'd be delighted to talk to you about their experiences if that's something that you're interested in. So that leaves me just to say, again, thank you to Guillermo for all his enthusiasm and everything that he does to support the business school, and thank you to the panelists for giving their time today to spread some of that learning that we know is so vital. And I will wish you all the best in the journey that you make over the next 5 weeks, and I will see you very soon. Thank you very much, Guillermo.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. Thank you all for all the wonderful context you gave to the audience. So now I think we're ready to get started. Andres Meirovich is going to be the professor today. He is the president of the Chilean Venture Capital Association. So he has tons of years of experience related to this subject, especially here in Latam. So Andres, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Let's dive in straight to all the content.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I mean, right now without video because I have some problems with the Wi-Fi. So sorry about that. But well, thank you for coming. This is a 50-minute session. The idea is to try to involve you guys in the Latin American ecosystem. So talking about Chile, some incentives, how the landscape, and several things. So what is the only things that all this place has in common? You know, San Francisco, New York, the UK, Berlin, Tel Aviv, and Singapore. They have other language, different religions. The only thing that they have in common is the venture capital industry. So why is so important the venture capital industry is because, and why it's so hot right now is because you have profitable, impact, and maybe the most important thing is to democratizing the access to financing. And in Latin America, that is really, really very important. You know, we're trying to be a developed countries. We're trying to reach some goals in terms of new startups. So the venture capital is the key, is the key process that we need to face in the next years. You know, you in the UK have a report that we use a lot in Santiago that said that for every pound invested on VC, 7 pounds go to the economy. So if you invest £1, it goes 7 pounds in your case to the UK. So the impact in terms of the venture capital to the country is really, really, really high. We're now making the same report or study in Chile. So I think by December, we will have the result of that. So as a Chile, as a LATAM, we really want to be the next region in terms of VC. You know, the VC 20 years ago, most of the VC goes to the US. At least 80% of the money goes to the US and 20% go to the world. And now 20 years later, it's only a 38% goes to the US and 62% go to the world. So people are really trying or really looking to the venture capital and the startups that are the most important thing because you know the venture capital is the fuel to the companies. So now the venture capital is global. It's not only the US. In 2018 was $254 billion in investment in startups. It was really, really, really huge. And the other thing that is very important that size matter in terms of venture capital. If you see the chart, in 2010, a seed round or an angel seed round is only $0.5 million. Now, after 8 years, is 1.1. In the early stage, the next round started at 2.4 and now it's 5.5. And in the later stage, start at 5.5 and now it's 11.5. Why is it important? Because the companies need to scale very fast. They need to scale to other countries. So they need more money. That's why we need more and more funds. In number of deals, you know, it's maybe pretty obvious, but most of the deals are in the angel or seed rounds, but most of the money goes to the later and growth stage, you know, over $10 million. So the important thing is how you face the late and growth stage. You know that most of the governments in the world have some subsidies or help the startups in the very early stage, in the angel or seed stage. But the important thing is that the private money, they need to go to the late and the growth stage. there is a chance in LATAM, of course. And why? Because we have really more than 600 million people in an emerging middle class. So it's really, really good. So they're very attractive to the European and the US startups. Other point very good is that WhatsApp and Facebook has the highest usage in the region. Airbnb and Uber found in Mexico City and Sao Paulo the biggest markets. So maybe you hear some not always good news about LATAM, but we really have very good things, you know. And the other very important thing is, for example, the private capital is the Discover LATAM and have been doubling each year for the past 5 years from 1.1 billion in 2017 to $4.6 billion in 2019. So it's a lot. And the other very important thing, if you compare to the US market or maybe the UK market, is the arbitrage between the LATAM and the US. For example, a seed round or the valuation in a seed round for a LATAM startup is only $2 million if you compare to $9 million in the US. And of course, a Series A, if you go to the bigger markets, is the same $22 million. So you really, the arbitration, the valuation arbitrage is 4 times X. So that's huge. If you invest in LATAM and or in Chile, the multiple is really, really high, 11 times versus 2.5 times in average, you know, of course. So the trends in the last, I think, 3 or 5 years, and the last one year, we have very, really good news. For example, SoftBank, that is the American-Japanese fund, they launched a $5 billion fund for invest in Latin American startups. And the news is the Argentinian fund, CASEC, was the founder of Mercado Libre, that is a unicorn company startups in LATAM, open and launch and found a $600 million fund to invest in Latin America. So imagine that. Bancoldex in Bogota, Colombia, opened the first fund of funds. And in Chile, we're discussing the same fund of funds because we really want to invest, and we will talk later about that, to try to attract the pension funds to invest in Chile in the startup ecosystem. Other news, huge companies are investing in Latin American companies. You know, for example, Uber acquires the Chilean company Corner Shop in almost $500 million. It was great. And last week, we have the Jeff Bezos family office invest in another Chilean company called Not Company. You know, $100 million investment. So really, we really have good news. In the last year was a record year for VC fundraising in Latin America, when $1.08 billion. And was a record year for VC investment in startup, $4.6 billion. And the other thing, as we talked before, the mega rounds or rounds more than $50 million was 18, was really, really high. And 11 transactions were over $100 million. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new unicorns the last year, okay? And was a record year for seed and incubator transactions in Argentina, Colombia, and Mexico. And was saying the VC investment in Latin America has doubled year over year since 2016. And you have the numbers, and then I can share you all this LAVCA industry data that is very, really, really nice. This is the market, the major market. You know, Brazil leads with 50% of the deals and $2.5 billion in 222 deals. Then it's Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, and then Chile. You know, the Colombia, $1.09 billion, was mostly one company called Rappi that raised $1 billion. So it was really, really, really high. This is one of our best companies here in Latam, Rappi. So in terms of deals, Chile has the 9.1% of the deals in 2019 and growing. The other point that we need to discuss is the size or the stage that we invest. I think, as we told before, in Latin America, we have a very good deal flow and cash flow in terms of the incubator deals and early stage deals. If you see in Brazil 116, in Chile 23, in Argentina 18, in Mexico 50, in Colombia 23, Peru 5, because we have a lot of subsidies of government assistance in this stage, and then we will talk about the Startup Chile and the Corfo model that is really, really nice. And the challenge or the goal now in Latin America is to open larger funds to invest in the next stages. Only maybe Brazil has a good potential now in terms of the later stage with the 11 companies, and most of the unicorns are from Brazil. So I think there is really a good opportunity to invest in later stage in Latin America, to have the valuation arbitrage. This is the top sectors in terms of deals and amount invested. You can see that fintech is a really, really important sector. Brazil, Mexico, and in Chile, there is a new fintech law that is like an open banking law. So in the next few months or years or maybe months, we can have a new era of fintech startups, and that's you can build a bridge between the UK and Chile in terms of fintech. The UK is a huge industry in the fintech sector. I think it's maybe the most important country or ecosystem in terms of fintech. So we have a lot of opportunities between LATAM and the UK in fintech. Other sectors, important sectors are biotech, progtech, marketplaces, e-commerce, and so forth. But fintech is in terms of amount 31%, and logistic and is at 26%. So it's very high. That is maybe Rappi is most of this 26% of the logistic and distribution sector. Why Chile as a hub? Why we make this course and why we are working with the Chilean government and why we are working with Corfo, because we really believe that Chile is the best place to start a business or a startup in Latin America. And why? First of all, LAFCA, that is the Latin American Venture Capital Association that is based in New York, made this report every year and put a ranking in which is the best country to start a business in Latin America. So every year Chile is the #1 in that ranking. So I think it's a good place to start. The Chilean industry was growing year by year. Today in stock is $1.3 billion. And Corfo, that is our government development agency, already put 63% of that amount of money. It's a lot. In Chile, the ticket average is $1.5 million. 70% of the investment are above 500K. So it's important in terms of Latin America. And we have more than 400 startups and 3,000 jobs. If we made a double click in the ranking, I can send you this after the session, but sorry. But in terms of loss on PE and VC, the tax benefits that we have in Chile, the protection of the minority shareholders, the restriction to invest, the protection of IP, and other things. You know, all the governance in terms of or laws that helps the number of businesses. I think Chile is always the number one. What happened in Chile? Why Corfo? I think if you know something about the Chilean ecosystem, you maybe know about Corfo. As I told you, Corfo is the Chilean Development Agency. They tried to, I think, things since 15 years ago, they believe and start saying, oh, the entrepreneurship is crucial if we want to build the country for the next 20 years. So they help the startups and the VC funds in a lot of ways. This is maybe since 1997 when they start open programs in terms of private equity. And then we move to the several programs in terms of helping the startup and the venture capital fund. For example, maybe you know Startup Chile. Startup Chile is a public accelerator. In the session 4, we will have the managing partner of Startup Chile. So she will talk, make a double click in all the programs that Startup Chile have. But generally speaking, Startup Chile invite startups from all over the world to launch the business in Chile. And they gave 100K to all the startups that open a business in Chile. And the only requisite is to stay 6 months in the country. Okay, so now they launched the growth program. So it's 100 more K. So if you start your business in Chile, you can have 200K from the Chilean government to launch your business from Chile to the Latin American market. So today, Startup Chile is maybe the leading accelerator in LATAM. It's equity free because it's a subsidy, and it's among the top 10 globally in the world. You know, and we have people from more than 50 countries. So I have from India, from the UK, from Italy, from Europe, from Africa, from the US, from other countries in LATAM, from Chile, of course, from all over the world. So it's a really, really huge problem and good program. And the other thing in terms of the venture capital is that Corfo copy and adapt the Israeli model, the JOSMA model. So they said, okay, I will really want to increase the number of VC funds from Chile. So we'll help in this quasi-capital scheme. So they have 3 different programs, the FC, the FT, and the FET. So they say, okay, if you as a private investor put $1 million in a fund, I will match you with up to $4 million. So 1 to 4. In a quasi-capital scheme, if the funds go bad, you can repay me, sorry, if the funds go well, you have to repay me this $4 million in a very low interest rate. It's 1.8% per year. So Corfo acts like a senior debt, but as a loan, as a bank. If the funds go down, for example, if you invest in 10 companies and the 10 companies go in bankruptcy, you don't have to repay Corfo. So they act like a LP or like an investor. So you have to pay when the funds go well, you don't have to pay when the funds go bad. That's a leverage, increase the return for the investor up to 80%. Okay, so you have 3 different programs. The FET is for very early stage companies. Then if the FT is a pre-series A, And the FC program is from A+ series. So in terms of tickets, the FET, you can invest between 0 to 700K. The FT is from 700K to $3 million. And the FC program is to $3 to $7 million ticket. So it's really nice. The first fund that we launched with Oxford Capital Partner was a FT program, you know. So we raised $8 million from LPs, and we have $16 million from Corfo in this leverage scheme. Okay. And always the people said, oh, but it's only from Chilean companies? No. When the program starts in 2010, of course, because it's public money, Corfo wants that you only invest in Chilean companies. In 2014, they opened and said, okay, you can invest in Chilean companies and or in companies that will have an impact in Chile. And now, 1 month ago, they opened and they said, okay, you can invest in Chilean company, you can invest in company that has an impact in Chile, or you can invest, if you raise more private money, in companies wherever you want. So it's really, really nice. So for example, if you as an LP, you want to invest in a UK company that want to scale to LATAM, it's better if you open a fund and then that fund invests in the UK company. Why? Because you have the Corfo leverage, okay? And another thing that is very important is the tax benefit. We will have Valentina, a lawyer, on the session number 3, that we have really good tax benefit. You know, there's a law in Chile from 2014 that if you have a VC or a fund in Chile and the fund invests at least 80% outside Chile, the fund is tax-free. So imagine that you can invest, you can have the Corfo leverage in one hand, and then in the other hand, you can have the tax benefit. So it's really, really good. And why is that? Because we want that the funds can be in Chile, because we know when the funds are in a country, all the ecosystem growth, you know? So why? Because a lot of startups will come to Chile because the funds will be in Chile. That's the idea, and that's why we are selling as a country the idea of Chile investment hub. You know? Then if you want, we can make a double click on that issue. What happens, what is the problem now in Chile, and why we want to attract foreign investors as a Oxford and trying to attract the pension funds is because we still in the first stages, you know. We have a lot of VC funds in the angel and seed rounds, and we have only 3 funds in the maybe in the early stage in the $1 to $10 million. One of that is Oxford Genesis Ventures. So if we want to really be a hub, our goal is to attract larger funds, a larger investor. So that's why we invite all these family offices, big companies, and pension funds to invest in Chile. You know? A lot of people said, but why Chile is a very small market, you know? It doesn't matter, you know, Singapore made the decision to be the VC hub for the Southeast Asia 4 years ago. And now look the numbers. So Singapore, in terms of VC investment per capita, is the largest in the world. So we are trying to copy and adapt the model. You know, if you want to invest in Southeast Asian companies, you put a fund in Singapore, and from Singapore you invest from all over that region. Our idea in Chile is the same. If you want to invest in LATAM, open a fund in Chile, the Corfo leverage, and have the tax benefit, and invest from Chile to the region. You know, this is maybe a resume of the tax benefits or the Chilean market benefits. You can, you know, we have the Pacific Alliance. It's Chile, Colombia, Peru, and Mexico. It's more of 230 million people in that countries, and we have a lot of benefits. Investing between those countries. We have the tax benefits, as we saw. We have the core for leverage. And if you want to open a startup in Chile, you have the Visa Tech. So it's very easy to move to Chile and to work here in Chile. So I invite all the UK guys that want to open some branch in LATAM to be part of, to launch that in Chile. Okay. For example, this is an example, a very interesting example about the core for leverage. You know, if you and a typical VC fund, you want a multiple of 6x, or you want really mostly a 35% of IRR, you need to have a 6x multiple. No, you need to sell your companies 6 times if you want a 35% of the return. With Corfo and having the same IRR 36.2, you only need a multiple of 3x. So that's, I think, is really good, you know, because your risk is lower. You only, in a typical VC fund of $24 million, 8 private money and 16 Corfo money, your only risk is the $8 million. So the risk for the investor is lower. And the upside is mostly all for the LP, you know, because Corfo acts like a senior debt, but it's a debt. So it's a very cheap debt. And that's why is the difference between the multiple, the 6 and the 3x multiple. This is the Chilean dream team. You know, we have companies for 2 unicorns. This is Véndenos tu auto. It's a 1 week news. We have Notco and Corner Shop that is more than $400 million. And we have several, almost 10 companies, more than $100 million in valuation. So there's a lot of investors coming from the US, coming from Israel, coming from the UK, trying to look in, you know, the Latin American landscape and of course the Chilean ecosystem. What is the takeaways? And then we will open to questions or comments. You know, the long-term challenge is to continue educate our people in terms of the relevance and the VC impact on Chile or in the economy. You know, we're discussing with Corfo the next stage in terms of the state role. They're really a great partner for all the investors, really, really good. And the other point is that the public policy is 15 years, you know, so we have a 4-year government, but this is a really a state public policy. So they will, you know, a VC fund is a 10-year relationship. So we have a 10-year relationship with Corfo. So it's really, really nice. We already, as Genesis Venture, we already had 3 funds using that scheme. So it really works. To take the next step to the Chilean VC, we need more family offices, corporate and institutional. You know, Mexico is one of a good experience on that. They have the pension funds, and the pension funds start investing in the VC ecosystem since I think 4 years ago, and that's why Mexico now has larger funds, maybe Series B using the UK or the US numbers. It was great, I think. we need to continue, and this course is if one of that issues is to continue talking to the world about the government benefits and the tax benefits to attract more and more international investors. We really want more startups. We really want more funds. We really want more GPs in Chile. Okay, it's our goal. And of course, the other point that is very important is to attract more corporate venture capital. We invest really a low percentage in terms of R&D if we compare to Israel or for other development countries. So this is a really good challenge and a goal for us as a country. We need to increase the number of money that the companies put in R&D and in corporate venture capital. Please, we're very open to question. This is a Q&A, 10 minutes.
All right. Andres, thank you very much for that. A very, very nice presentation, and I'm sure illuminating for a lot of people. Hey, first question is actually, we're in the state of a pandemic crisis, and I wanted to, if Esteban Schreck, who we also have online from, he's head of strategic finance for Uber of all Latin America. Love to get your answer on this, Andres or Rodrigo, about the availability of capital for startups. Is the pandemic causing that to dry up? Or are you seeing something completely different right now? And Esteban, if you're there, that'd be great if you can chime in after Andres.
Yeah, no, I think now, of course, maybe in March, April, May, all the investor was really looking what will happen, But after that, we really have a lot of companies or investors trying to put money in Chile. So I think, and the government is helping a lot to try to attract foreign investors. So I think this year will be a record in Chile. And the next year we will double at least the amount of capital that we raised this year. So I think I have a very good view for the next 1 or 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Steve,
go ahead, Rodrigo.
Sorry, just an additional issue regarding the digital transformation we have seen during the pandemic around the world, but in particular, we have a gap here in Chile regarding the corporations moving ahead on that challenge. So I think the startups ecosystem is driving that goal for corporations, and we have seen that this trend is going to keep going during the next years or so. So even though some startups face a turmoil in terms of the economic situation, there is a huge opportunity regarding the digital transformation. That's one issue. Another issue is that corporate venture capitals has moving ahead as well. There are a lot of corporations making decisions. The decision-making process on that has been pretty fast. We have seen on banks as well as logistic companies, traditional ones, incorporating accelerators or building an investment vehicle within their organization. So there are a lot of new stuff going on in this landscape, and we will see very good news in the future.
Very cool. Thank you. So, hey, we have a question coming in from Santiago. Really is one I was going to ask as well. What do we say to the kind of outside investors or even startups looking to scale to Chile, about issues that have to deal with stability, political stability? Andres or Rodrigo, that's great if you could answer that.
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry about that.
About any kind of concerns about political stability in Chile or broader Latin America. What can we talk about? What would you say to outside investors, VCs that are looking to invest there, or even startups that are from the United Kingdom that are looking to scale their business there?
Yeah, well, of course, you maybe have some different news, but and it's not an easy region, you know. Maybe you can have news from Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Mexico, but I think in Chile we have a social crisis last year, and of course that's a problem when we growth the last 25 years. People want another things maybe, and it's a challenge. But you know, all the countries has challenge. You have the Brexit in the last 4 years, and you know, and the country was really good, and the numbers in 2020 was really good numbers for the UK in terms of VC investment. So yeah, we're facing challenge, and I think all the countries will face challenge, but we really see a lot of investors trying to, because as I told you, I think the support of the Chilean government and the arbitrage. If you today invest in the Silicon Valley market or the East Coast market, it's hard, you know, it's very expensive.
Right.
Really, not a lot of VC funds earns a lot of money. They invest a lot of money, but so here is a virgin region. So I think we're in a good stage to growth. That's
Thanks,
my view.
thanks,
So
Andres.
I have a really good view for the future.
So, hey, Matt Wunderle has a question regarding, you know, what's the preferred industry? What kind of sectors and or technologies seem to be hot right now down in LATAM? And by the way, Esteban, if you're there, you can also jump in on that question, because I know you're doing lots of investing as well. So Andres or Rodrigo, if you could answer that, give your take, and Esteban, if you're there, jump in.
Sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Thanks, Matt, for the question. Well, the fintech as well as distribution and logistic accounts almost for 50% of the money in Latin, but there are very interesting sectors like agtech as well as the marketing tech are getting a lot of attention, using disruptive technology like IoT and as well as artificial intelligence. Life science, even though we don't have a cluster of life science technology in the Pacific Alliance, all the universities and tech transfer units on them are doing very interesting stuff on medical devices as well as other stuff on life science. So, but if we need to make a decision, agtech would be a very hot sector to look around. We have seen a lot of digital transformation on the ag sector, and the decision makers there are moving ahead in bringing technology as well as startups, knowing to work with the startups. That would be a challenge for them. So I think agtech would be a very hot sector, even though fintech and distribution and transportation and marketplace are getting the attention for all the almost 10 years or so.
Okay, cool. Hey, Esteban, is Uber seeing the same thing as well?
Like what I'd say, first of all, kudos to Genesis and Oxbridge. Really good presentation, really good forum. So thank you for organizing this. What I'd say is Latin America is primed for disruption. That's what we see, and that's what we keep seeing, right? And so, like Andres, that's like more has a wider lens than the one that I have. I'd say that Latin America overall, many countries have underspent in basic infrastructure and commerce and agriculture technology, and digital transformation is allowing to cross that gap, to close that gap before. And so I think what we're going to see is a very rapid adoption of new technologies, and I think that what makes Latin America so so interesting. And going back to your previous questions, like why do we think Latin America is so interesting? Apart, or what makes Chile so interesting, apart from the opportunity itself, it's the strength of institutions, right? And so as we think about investing in and deploying money into different countries, what we want to see it's the ability to have very clear rules, right? And I think Chile is it's a great example of when things are being done the right way in Latin America, things can flourish. And so the strength of institutions and the ecosystem around capital deployment and innovation is very important for that to happen.
Thanks a lot. Great perspective from somebody who's doing a lot of investing in Latin America, Esteban. Last question. I know we're not getting everybody's questions, so I guess this is the last one. This is out to Yasreen, who chairs the investment committee for Oxbridge Angels. Yasreen, how do you get a UK startup? How do you get them inspired to think about scaling their business to Chile?
So let me give you an example. If we use the latest investments we've done in a startup that provide solutions to reduce the effects of the Parkinson disease, there is Parkinson disease everywhere in the world, including in Latin America. So though the company is headquartered in the UK, they need to expand in order to survive, and they will have to expand in Asia, US, Latin America, and everywhere else in the world. LATAM is expanding, as everybody said earlier. It is more and more tech savvy, and they could become rapid early adopter of new technology. And so thanks to this connection we have with LATAM and the Corfu scheme that Genesis and Oxbridge Capital are leveraging on, we would help the company to expand their business development capabilities, their sales, there's manufacturing, R&D into the LATAM market. And that scheme helps them to de-risk their probably new market that maybe customer behaviors might not be the same in Europe versus LATAM for some products. And therefore, by having this scheme, they're being incentivized to go and experiment this market and potentially have high returns.
Thank you so much, Yasreen. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And it's an awesome practical example of what we have been doing there in the UK, analyzing deals with the potential to expand throughout the world. So thank you so much for giving us your personal experience on that. Before we wrap up, I want to invite all the audience for next Friday at 3 o'clock on the dot. We're going to be sure that we're going to start on time, given all these lessons learned that we had these technical issues at the beginning. The content that we're going to cover is very specific. We're going to go deep into pricing, deal structuring, the venture math, how we analyze deals, and so forth. So please secure the date. Put it in your agenda. Remember that it's every Friday starting today at the same time, using the same link. If not, we're gonna keep you posted in advance. So if you wanna invite your team members or someone else from the community, that'd be amazing, because the focus, as I said at the beginning, is not just Chile, it's LATAM. So I know that here in the audience, we've got people from Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, and so forth. So you're more than welcome to participate next Friday. So I wanted to thank you all, especially to the faculty members, to the audience attending today. And I hope this conversation was of use to you all. So if some of the questions, we were not able to answer them properly, please capture them. We're gonna have them in the parking lot so we can maybe cover them in the next session. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you next Friday.
Thank you very much.